Commence primary ignition.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to VCN Transmissions. My name is Colin, and we have a decent amount to talk about. Not only is it the 45th anniversary of Indiana Jones, and I'm going to tell you why that is Star Wars related. It is also the opening weekend of Disclosure Day, which is also made by Steven Spielberg as well. And last week, we got some really great gaming news and also a lot to look forward to for the rest of the year. First things first, thank you to everyone from the VCN family for joining in and listening in every week. Us as the Virtual Cantina Network try and bring you as much Star Wars love as possible, and we do our best to achieve that, and I believe we do. I think everyone on the VCN team believes that we do, and we just love you all. That is basically what I'm trying to say. Sorry for rambling on. But we also have some conventions coming up, including over at Rebel Scum Con. We have Boonta Eve. Get your tickets today. If you haven't yet, get your tickets for the convention. And then also some of us will be over at San Diego Comic-Con next month, which is also super exciting as well. Stay tuned for more news about that. For me personally, I've been very busy. I was at DroidCon last weekend. I've been making Wookiee suits left and right here, and I am done with all the facts. So been able to kind of chill and slow down for a second, just because I've been posting every day for a very, very long time. But yeah, it's been great. It's been fun. So Indiana Jones. For those who don't know, a majority of people do, but for those who don't, Indiana Jones is related to Star Wars in a big way because of George Lucas. Indiana Jones was a collaboration between Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. Steven Spielberg was actually trying to make a James Bond movie for a very long time. That studio that made James Bond kept denying him, and then George Lucas was like, well, I've got something that's a lot better, and it was Indiana Jones. And then those movies came out, and then there was the Young Adventures and the Young Chronicles of Indiana Jones, and Sean Patrick Flannery is actually going to be over at Rebel Scum Con this year. So if you love that series, if you love that show, if you love that actor, go and see him over at the convention this year. But what was great about that show was that was a huge thing that George Lucas wanted to do, because he wanted to do a show that would be able to be shown in school for kids, like in history class and stuff, but he also wanted to stay true to the Indiana Jones character. And the show also opened up, I'm trying to think of the word. It opened up the way that he was going to do the sequels. I mean, not the sequels, the prequels, episode 1, 2, and 3, because he was waiting for the special effects to catch up, and he did. With that series, he got to the point of where he knew he could make the prequels. So if you love Indiana Jones, then you've also got to love Star Wars, because there's so many different things here. And then also Steven Spielberg, there is a deleted scene. Order 66 was actually going to be longer in Revenge of the Sith. Steven Spielberg actually directed a Order 66 of the montage, and there is actually it's a animation of what his stuff was going to be, but it was going to be really, really action packed. So if you go online, you can also go to the special features and check out what Steven Spielberg was going to do for that specific scene for Order 66. But George Lucas and Steven Spielberg have a large history. So it's incredible that the series is 45 years old, and 5 years is going to be 50, which is also absolutely insane. Um, I grew up loving Indiana Jones. I was introduced to it with my best friend, because I went over to his dad's place, and then he was showing him Indiana Jones, and then I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And then we watched the first one, and of Raiders, and I fell in love with it. And he's like, "Well, there's more." And then I just got sucked in, and then I went to the Indiana Jones stunt show, and when I worked at Disney after work, I would go there a lot of just to be there and kind of bask in the glory the Indiana Jones spectacular stunt show. So Indiana Jones has been a huge um, part of my life. So the fact that it's turned 45 years old is absolutely incredible. And Steven Spielberg has a new movie that came out this weekend. It's called Disclosure Day. Now, this is like a classic Steven Spielberg film. I've been rewatching a lot of his films lately, and this just of Disclosure Day just feels it adds the mystery to life. And in this film, he really does that. And I think the best way to describe it, and one of the morals of the story, is listen. Because we get so caught up in a lot of different things in life and everything going on, and sometimes we're moving too fast and we don't take the time to listen. And I think that is the moral of this movie, and it was done so well. All of the practical effects were fantastic. The entire cast was fantastic. This is probably, in my opinion, one of Emily Blunt's greatest performances in this film. It was fantastic. I was on the edge of my seat for the most part of the film, and I walked out of the film really self reflecting, and I haven't had that in a while. So, if you love cinema, if you love Steven Spielberg, and you just love a good, flick, go and see Disclosure Day, because it it just it just reminds you of classic cinema. Um, and Steven Spielberg absolutely nailed it. And there is also an Indiana Jones Easter egg in there as well. But yeah, so go and check that out. And then we also got two new trailers, because there was a new gaming convention. Well, not new, but there was a gaming convention that happened last weekend, and there was the actual gameplay trailer, including like the story trailer for Zero Company. We've we already knew what it was, but we didn't really fully. Well, I guess I didn't fully understand until I saw it, but I am excited for it because there is a lot of customization. You can customize your squad. It takes place during the Clone Wars. It's also confirmed that Anakin Skywalker is going to be in it. It takes place at the end, uh, of the Clone Wars. So it takes place right before Revenge of the Sith. So the version of Anakin that we're getting is like the Revenge of the Sith Anakin. Not confirmed if he's played by Matt Lanter, but most likely he will be. And then we also got a new look over at Galactic Racer. Galactic Racer is going to be phenomenal. Not saying that Zero Company won't be, but I've been waiting for this game for a while, because there are a lot of devs from Need for Speed and Burnout of those franchises that moved over to this game, and it looks phenomenal. There's a lot of callbacks to those games, and the fact that you'll be able to make your own speeders and speeder bikes and pod racing. It is confirmed you will be able to do pod racing in the game, which is awesome. We know Sebulba is in it. We know Ben Quadinaros, the legend, is in it. So that is super, super exciting. And then we also know that there's a lot of different alien species from throughout the franchise that will be in it as well, including I don't know the name of the top of my head, but it's the same species at the end of Revenge of the Sith that actually they're called the they're not the birthing droids, but they're the aliens that help Padme give birth to Luke and Leia. So that was I was like, whoa, I did not expect to see that species. That's really cool. So there is gonna be a lot of different aliens throughout these games. And the best way to describe it is that this year is the year of Glup Shido. There's so many cool aliens that we're seeing from the movies, from the shows, and now in the games, and including the comics as well. So there's a lot of different aliens. There's actually a really cool new giant blue alien in Zero Company. We don't know the species just yet, but it looks really cool. So there is a lot to look forward to. And Zero Company is going to be coming out at the end of the summer, and then Galactic Racer is coming out on October 6th. So we're getting 2 Star Wars games very close within a couple of months from each other, which is super, super cool. And then not only that, we're also, for gamers, we're getting a lot of games this year, especially in the month of September. And then in November, it's like Grand Theft Auto 6 and I think it's only 3 games, but Grand Theft Auto 6 is the big game. And then September is when a bunch of games are releasing because no one wanted to really go around the realm of when GTA comes out. But yeah, so there's a lot to look forward to for this year. There's also the museum that is opening near the end of September, the San Diego Comic-Con in July. There is Rebel Scum Con, which is absolutely insane with the lineup, as always. There's a lot to look forward to. And I'm trying to think of anything else big because I just felt like this year alone has just been, crazy for me. But for Star Wars, it's been really busy. But next year is going to be absolutely even more crazier because we get the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. We get Star Wars Celebration. We're getting a new movie. We're getting season 2 of Ahsoka, and there's other Star Wars surprises that we don't even know about yet. So there is a lot to look forward to in the future. Right now is kind of like we're in limbo, hanging out, but as soon as we get towards the end of the summer, that's when everything is just gonna be crazy for the rest of the year. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. For us over at VCN, go over to our website, so then you can go and see all of our upcoming events. Again, sorry that Brooke is not here. She's actually gone for the weekend, but hopefully we're planning on getting back to our normal schedule. I know I say that every time, but it's just been absolutely crazy here, especially being new parents. But yeah, so thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. We're also going to be having some special guests on the show within the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that announcement, and I'll talk to you soon. May the Force be with you forever and always.